Hi, Danielle D'Souza, mortgage broker with Win Mortgage, and I am here with my good friend Mandy Lorenz with Darr. You say it because
Darr Shackow Insurance.
Okay. All right. So we are going to talk to you guys a little bit about insurance, and because it is just a hot topic lately in Florida. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I wanted to ask is, how long have you been in insurance?
I've been in insurance for about 6 years.
Okay.
A little bit longer than that. So I've seen a lot of changes in the home insurance market, especially auto too, but mostly in home insurance.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so tell us what you like about insurance. I'm sure it's challenging, but there's some things you like, right?
So it's like a puzzle.
Okay.
Each person needs different things. I get to meet great families and educate them on the insurance market, help them find new things that that they need for their home.
Okay. Awesome. Now, I know before you were with different companies with insurance. Right now, you're with Darr Shackow.
Shackow.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that company, your company that you're with.
Yeah. So Darr Shackow Insurance, they're based out of Gainesville. Our main office is in Gainesville, Florida.
They're in Florida. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And we're actually all over Florida.
Okay.
So previously, I owned the Boudreaux agency, and I merged with Darr Shackow Insurance. And so I still service and manage the Boudreaux Insurance Agency book, but they're kind of like that all over the state.
Okay.
So there's different agencies that are all fall under Darr Shackow Insurance, and it's just a connection of different agents that get to feed off of each other and learn from each other and help each other.
So is it like a broker?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So then explain a broker versus like Farm Bureau or State Farm or something like that.
So right now in Florida, options are everything. If you're with a company that's exclusive, like State Farm, versus a broker like Darr Shackow Insurance, you have more options as far as who you can go to, what carriers, underwriting guidelines you fit into better. So I always recommend options because you may not fit the underwriting guidelines for one particular company, but you will for if you have multiple companies.
Pick, okay.
And they're competing for your business.
So it's just like the mortgage world, the mortgage broker world. Okay, cool. So with home buyers, especially right now, insurance is like a huge deal. So a first-time home buyer or even just a home buyer, when they're choosing homeowners insurance, what do they need to know? Like, what is the most important thing that they need to know?
The most important thing that they need to know is that insurance is personal. It's not always about the house, what year it's built, and the square footage. It's personal. Your insurance policy is going to be different than what I would need. Do they have a dog? Do they have a pool? Do they plan to get a pool? What kind of dog do they have? Will their pool have a slide? There's different things, and it's very personal. How are they going to use the property that they're purchasing? There's just a lot of things. That's why it's good to go in with an agent who knows how to navigate that market.
Okay. And then so it's like there's a lot with roof life, and I hear a lot about, roof is like a huge one. So tell us like a little bit about why and what the issue is with the roofs, because I hear it all the time, like they can't get coverage over a certain amount of time. And then I'm hearing about there's like a sealant now that's going on roofs, and then they're not going to cover, or it has to be metal or tile. Like there's so many things. So just tell us like a small, and then of course reach out to her if you have more information, but give us like a little bit of that.
Yeah. So what it comes down to is the insurance company is a business. Yes, they're in it to provide coverage for their clients, but they're also, at the end of the day, they want to make money. It's a business. So they're going to go according to what their experience is and has been over the last couple of years. So if an insurance carrier finds that their experience is, we pay out a lot of claims on a shingle roof that is 10 years or older, so we're going to adjust our underwriting guidelines to fit that. So now we're not going to take a roof that's older than 10 years if it's a shingle roof. Our experience is that we pay out a lot of claims for a shingle roof altogether. So we're just not going to do that anymore. And that's why it's good to have those options with carriers, because then you may not fit with this carrier anymore, but you may fit with these carriers. So that's kind of what it is.
You do have carriers that accept roofs that may be over 10 years old? Okay. And then even what about, like I hear about AC and hot water heater?
Yeah. So again, that comes down to their experience and how they're going to adjust their underwriting guidelines. HVAC, I haven't really seen too many strict underwriting guidelines for that. Could that change? Yes. Hot water heater has seemed to be the thing over the last year that they're more concerned about. And that comes down to what they've experienced over the last year or two. They may have been paying out a lot of claims over the last year or two for this particular kind of hot water heater at this age. And if it's stored in the garage versus in the house, because that also makes a difference.
So that makes a lot of sense, though. And I hope that the people are understanding this. So it's all about who it is and what they've experienced. So I didn't know that.
Yep.
Because so sometimes like a certain company might say, we're only going to do tile, or we're only going to do metal, or only 5 years or something. But it's because of that they've had claims.
Right.
So that's where when you work with an insurance broker like Mandy with Darr Shackow, they have several different insurance companies that they can kind of almost bid off of to see what they're going to offer.
Right.
Okay. So that's really cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. Explain flood insurance a little bit and who needs it, because I know that they changed the map too about who needs flood insurance. That changes all the time. So kind of give us a little bit of education on that.
Okay. So first, the boring part, we'll start with the definition of flood, and it's rising waters from the outside coming in.
Okay.
And a lot of people think that because they have home insurance that part is covered, and it's not. Sometimes you can get a company that will offer an endorsement onto your home insurance policy, but usually you do need a separate policy for that.
Okay.
Who should get it? Everyone. Flood zones are constantly changing. So just because you're in an X flood zone does not mean that you're not going to ever flood or experience flood. It just means that the likelihood of you experiencing a flood versus someone that's right next to the water, next to the ocean, next to the intercoastal, next to a lake, the chances of them experiencing a flood are higher. And then your pricing on your flood policy goes according to how likely you are to flood.
Okay. So then if you're like and that's the thing too, is that nobody really knows if they're going to flood or not, because that's why that's changing all the time.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in the X zone and you're not really likely to flood. Is the flood insurance expensive?
It varies. So if you're in an X flood zone and the chances of flooding are less likely, you're going to definitely pay less than someone that is in an AE flood zone.
So how much? I mean, it's like a large.
So there's different things that will factor into that. The location. Also, they'll ask different questions. The square footage of the house, and all these different things are factored in. But roughly, and you can't hold me to it.
Yeah,
you can't hold me to it.
I never want to say what an interest rate is.
Yeah, because
either.
it changes. If you would have asked me 2 years ago what a flood policy costs, it's way different than what it costs. But I
mean, are we saying like 500 or 2,000 or 10,000? I guess
I would probably set aside maybe 1,000.
Okay, so I mean that's just
could be in that. It could be in that area.
Okay. All right. So, what else? Anything else that we need to know for home buyers? Anything in the Florida market? Like anything else that you would like to share?
So just when you're buying a home, pay attention to the updates that have been done on that home. Have they updated the roof? If they did update the roof, did they get a whole new roof or did they do a roof over? That's very important. Very, very important. When was the hot water heater replaced? How well did they maintain this home before they sold it to you? That's very, very important. and you can get there's different inspections that will determine that.
And the roof mitigation or wind mitigation, and then that's the roof inspection that shows the wind mitigation, right?
Yep.
Okay, and
And
that
the
gives
4-point.
and the 4-point, and those give like little discounts.
So the wind mitigation could, I say could because it doesn't always, but could give you discounts on your homeowners insurance policy.
Okay.
So I do recommend that. Plus, it also lets you know how your roof is attached to your house. Because there's different attachments, there's different options there. So
Okay. So how does somebody reach out to you?
you can call me. You can reach me at 386-246-2330.
Okay.
I have a really, really long email address. It's alorenz@darrshackowinsurance.com. So you can just call me. I'll give you my email address.
And the biggest difference with you is that there are several carriers. And I'll say, so Mandy, her name is Amanda, but she goes by Mandy. And one of the things that she's my insurance person, and every year she runs everything for me. So before I was with I don't know who you call them. I won't say their name, but it's like somebody that isn't a broker. And my policies would just renew automatically. But you actually shop all the lenders for me and then say, I shopped these for you and your auto can go down with this carrier or your homeowners insurance can go down with this carrier. So that was one thing that I never had before. So I thought that was cool. So that must be a difference with either you or just insurance brokers.
Yeah. So you want to have somebody that's able to navigate through the market for you. It's kind of like buying a house. You want to have a realtor, somebody that's on your side working to help find the best coverage, the best price, because it's not always about price. But having those options is always going to be a win for you. You want to have companies that are fighting for your business. So having options is great, especially in Florida.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And it was great. Good information. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.